The regeneration of Manchester has been one of the big success stories of the UK. Success in business, finance and the arts, but also in the regeneration of an area once written off by many. Hume and Moss Side has had fresh life breathed into its architecture and its communities. Not that it has escaped the problems that often occur in many inner city areas. High levels of youth unemployment, poverty and crime. The Youth Charter, YC, believes there's a much cheaper and more effective solution to antisocial behaviour and youth crime than higher policing, tougher courts and harsher penalties.
The Youth Charter for Sport came into being following the tragic shooting of a 14-year-old schoolboy Benji Stanley on the streets of Moss Side. At that time, Sir Bob Scott's dream of bringing the Manchester 2000 Olympics was real and very vibrant, and there needs to be something positive, I think, to have come out of the very negative tragedy that occurred at the time.
YC uses sport, arts and cultural activity to give people an aim in life, a sense of achievement and self-esteem. In 1994, YC organised a visit by a group of young people from Moss Side and Hume to Los Angeles, an experience caught on camera by Granada Television.
The Amateur Athletic Foundation of Los Angeles, the AAF, was the first sports facility we visited. It was built thanks to money from the 1984 Olympic Games. LA gained a lot from the Olympics, as former Mayor Tom Bradley explained.
As one who was involved as mayor over a period of 20 years, I've seen the city of Los Angeles grow. The Olympic Games in 1984 were the highlight of that entire period. And we believe that there is such value that comes out of sport and youth activity. Most of all, the commitment to give back to the community is paramount.
Our next stop is right by the LA Financial District.
Okay, so you guys are at the Field of Dreams, and it was called the Field of Dreams because before the soccer field was here, there was absolutely nothing here. I don't know if you've had a chance to look across the street, but there's a bunch of homeless people living there, and there's drug trafficking and prostitution that goes on right across the street. And before, this was just like that, just an empty grave, like practically a graveyard. It was a building that was gotten torn down, and there was trash and litter here. Now that the field has been built, we have a lot more responsibility as far as the neighborhood's concerned. We want this to be like the beginning of the development of this whole community.
Once they get off drugs and get out of gangs, they got to give them someplace to go. So they bring them into sporting events, sporting activities. And right now, Officer Jimenez is really involved in hockey. So the project right now is with a hockey program with the kids, starting with deck, and then go to roller hockey, and then eventually ice hockey.
Night basketball is one of those sports. We found this all over LA. Sport under lights. It cuts crime, and it's one of many good ideas we learned on our LA tour, which is now nearly over. It's nearly time to go home to Manchester. So what have we learned from LA?
It's quite a lot of ideas really to take back, a lot of opportunities over here, and if we had the same in England, I think crime rate in youth would go down a lot.
We need something like this in Manchester to get the kids more involved within the sporting area, like they have done here.
But if Manchester or England had things like that, it could be as good as this place.
They've got a positive way of thinking. You know, they think that if I do this, it'll do that, and this is the way they think, whereas in Manchester they think, well, if I do that, I wonder if it'll work. You know, here they think, I'll do that and it will work, and they've got a positive way of thinking.
That positive thinking came back to Manchester and soon bore fruit with the opening of the Moss Side Millennium Powerhouse. Inspired by the Youth Charter's tour and experiences in countries such as the USA, this state-of-the-art sports facility came complete with a peace area, a piece of consecrated ground on which rival gangs were supposed to meet and to negotiate. An accommodation wing was built, which has hosted 8 different youth delegations from around the world. There is also a library and learning resource centre. Moss Side Powerhouse was the only youth project in the UK to receive Millennium funding, a unique intergenerational and multicultural community facility. But building a facility like this is only the beginning. Many difficult challenges have to be overcome before trust, dignity, respect and a community spirit are established.
The powerhouse is obviously, I think, frustrating as it is motivating. I think it highlights that we can build things in this country, and there are a lot of other facilities that we could talk about. But the powerhouse is something that was built, it was a symbol, it was an inspiration of the tour group in 1994. But I think at this moment in time the jury is out. It's about giving young people, and that's what I've learnt consulting not only the young people of Moss Side, but 10 other communities throughout the country. It's about giving them the capacity, the leadership, the ability, the skills and the tools, and the responsibility and trust to be able to manage and operate these facilities so they are truly sustainable.
As well as learning from the experiences of other countries such as South Africa, YC acts as a social broker, encouraging politicians, ministers and other opinion formers to visit young people in their communities to hear directly from them what it is they want for their community.
What I decided to do was to come up here as often as I could and to come round and see as much of what was going on and to hear what you've got to say about your hopes, your fears, your aspirations, the things that you would like to be able to do, the things that you're prevented from doing.
We're all artists here in Manchester, and what I feel we need is a little bit more support and belief in us, because we believe in ourselves, but we need belief in us.
This is Manchester, and a lot of people here have had broken dreams before and not always achieved everything that they wish to do, but that's where we're resilient, because we're young enough to climb back on the horse and get on with things.
They want to teach the young girls how to DJ, and yes, it does lead to jobs, yes, it does lead to opportunities, but the government don't seem to realise how much young people want this. Yes. And there's no resources, it makes it really difficult.
Whenever I speak about experiences in my life, I always touch upon the trip to LA, because to me it was something, it was a gift really. Youth Charter for Sport has also provided that opportunity for the young people in order to try and equip themselves, in order to try and challenge any barriers, whether it be sport, academically, encouragement. There's a lot of people that have invested into it. I feel across the board it has achieved and probably will continue to. I don't think it's had the recognition that it deserves.
Investment means growth, it means returns, it means performance, it means results. All those things, and that's where the Charter's involvement in sport can promise to deliver so much potential, and that's why it appeals to businesses with their new focus on the likes of corporate social responsibility.
The young people are the future, and they will tell you all the things that are not right, things why they're happening, because they're carrying this from the nurturing stages through their life, and that's why it's not being resolved.
We could get funding or, have a site. Yeah, that could be like a footpath, for young kids to get work, get them off the street and get them through life.
Possibly the missing part of the jigsaw has been the youth element. However, that perversely is the element that offers the greatest potential, the strongest growth, the biggest return on investment, and it just needs the risk to be managed in order that that piece of the jigsaw can be put in place. And that's where the Youth Charter is in a unique position and has special strengths to be able to take forward the whole sustainable communities agenda in terms of the youth element.
Just keep on going, doing the good work, because without it, what would there be out there?
The priorities are simple. It's building on the legacy of the 2002 Commonwealth Games. Citizenship in action is real, it's global as it is local. The last number of years have been spent going to communities up and down the country, actually looking at how sport, culture and the arts really do socially and culturally engage, motivate and inspire young people that will be future citizens, not only for themselves but for their communities. With the opportunity of the 2012 Olympics, that becomes a very exciting reality and opportunity. And all of our energy and efforts is now seeing how we can play a part in actually taking a northern experience to the southern experience of reality, and just bring those special moments we had in the 2002 Commonwealth Games to the reality of the 2012 Olympic Games.
Since 1993,